So now today we will continue our polymorphism and we will be discussing about the virtual functions. We have already seen in runtime polymorphism there are two type of polymorphism that is implemented. One is function overriding that we have already seen, and the second thing is virtual function. Now we'll see what are virtual functions. So as the word says, what are virtual function? They are virtual, means they are there but their existence is not concrete and instead it is virtual. So we'll understand the meaning of virtual in this context. So virtual functions are a member function with the same name in the base class as well as derived class. So again, the base class is having one function and even the derived class is having a function with the same name. But how it is different from overriding? Because in overriding also we were having the same function in the base class as well as same function in the derived class. Here again we are having the same function name in the base class as well as in the derived class. Virtual functions, what it does, it gives programmer capability to call member functions from different classes depending upon different situation. So whatever is the requirement of the programmer, accordingly he can call the function from the base class or from the derived class. Next thing is, now virtual function is dependent upon the pointer concept. When we are talking about virtual function, we'll be using the pointers to call the function. So what we do, we create a pointer of the parent class. So we have created a pointer, that pointer ka data type is base class pointer. But we will make that pointer to hold the address of child class object. So data type of the pointer is parent class object and it is pointing to the child class object. But vice versa is not possible. A pointer which is of parent class type can point to child class, but a pointer which is of child class type cannot point the parent class object. So the thing we can say, example simple would be, pointers of car class can point to object of sports class. We already know that base class are the more generalized classes and the derived class are more specialized one. So we are talking about cars. So car class will be the base class and sports, the more specialized version, will be the derived class. So in this case what we will do, we will be creating the pointer of car class and that pointer we will make it to point to the sports car class. We'll be taking examples on this now. So we'll skip this. Okay. So virtual function. What is virtual function? We are having the function. This is our base class. This is our derived class. Derived class is inheriting the base class. Now there is a function print which is there in base class as well as function print which is there in derived class as well. But if you will see, we have a keyword here, virtual. In the base class, when we are writing the function, we are writing it as a virtual function. So we are using the keyword virtual. So this particular print function is a virtual function. Now we'll see what difference it is going to make. We'll come to the main. So as I've told you, what we are going to do first. First we created the object of the derived class. Next we created a pointer. The name of the pointer variable is base1 and it is of what type? It is of type base. What is base? Base is our base class. So we have created a pointer variable. The name of the pointer variable is base1. What is the data type of it? It is having the data type as base. That is, it can point to the objects of base class or wherever the objects are located in the memory, and those objects are the objects of base class. Now what we are doing, we are making this pointer to hold the address of the derived class object. Derived one is the object of the derived class which we have created in the previous line. So our base one variable, which is a pointer, that pointer is pointing to the object of the derived class. So we have created the pointer of the base class and we have made that pointer to point to object of the derived class. Next what we are doing, we are using this pointer to point to print function or to call print function. In this scenario, what will happen? So this base one is a pointer of base class. it is pointing to a print function. If we will remember our previous examples which we have discussed in the previous lecture, when we create object of the base class and we call the function of the base class will be called. This is what happens. But in this case, we have created the pointer. In context to virtual function, we have created the pointer of the base class, but that pointer is pointing to the address of the derived class. Pointer is actually of base class, but it is pointing to the base class object. So in this scenario, using the base class pointer, we will be able to call the function of the derived class. So I'll just a minute guys, just a minute. अभी मेरा लेक्चर चल रहा है, प्लीज मेरा लेक्चर कर ले दो, मैं चाका चोट से मार दूंगी. Okay guys, so we will see with a pictographical representation what exactly I wanted to say. So what we are doing, the first thing that we are doing is we are creating a pointer. The name of the pointer is base1. It is a base class pointer. Now we are making this pointer to point to the object of the derived class. This derived one is an object of the derived class. So this pointer is now pointing to the object of the derived class. Now using this pointer, what we are doing, we are calling the print function. So when we see the print function, actually there are two print function in existence. First one is a virtual print function which is part of the base class. Second one is your derived class print function. So we have two print functions here. The first one is virtual. Now using our base class pointer, we are calling the print function. So we have made a function call using the base class pointer, and while making a function call, we have two options, that is print of base and print of derived. So generally what we expect, that the pointer is of base class, it should call the base class function. But that base class function is virtual by nature. Virtual by nature means it is not having that concrete existence. So what will happen when the call is made? The virtual function will not be called. Instead of that, we will be calling the derived class function. So this function is going to get called. In spite of the fact that we are using the base pointer, why that function is not called? Because that function was virtual by nature. We use the keyword virtual there. Okay, so print of the derived class is called because print of the base class is virtual. Now we'll just see one more example on this. So we'll see an example in which we will be using the overriding concept as well as the virtual concept. So we are having a base class, we are having a derived class. So base class and derived class are going to have the similar functions. We'll see what. So the first function in base class is print function, and it is virtual by nature. So the keyword virtual is there. Now we have a print function in the derived class as well. So print of base is virtual, print of derived is not virtual obviously. So this is the first function, the print function. Next we have one more function in base class, that is show function. So show function of base class is not virtual. It is a normal function, it is not a virtual function. Now we have a show function in our derived class as well. So both the classes are having two functions, print and show. Print of base class is virtual by nature. Now we'll come to our main part. Just look at the right hand side. So we'll try to call these functions. So what we did, the first step would be creating the pointer. So we have created a pointer named as BPTR, which is of type base class. We have created an object D of derived class. Now we have made our pointer to point to the address of derived class. So these are the general steps that we have seen in the previous slide also. We'll do these steps. Now what we are going to do, we're going to use our BPTR pointer, and through this we will call the print function. Through this we are going to call the print function. So there are two print functions. First function being virtual, it will not be called. Instead of that, this function call will be calling the print function of your derived class, and this will be done at the runtime. So virtual function is binded at the runtime. Now next what we are going to do, we are going to use this pointer again to call show function. So we have used the function pointer of the base class only. So we have used the pointer of the base class only, and now we are calling the show function. So what it will do, it will look into the show function of base class. It is not virtual. As it is not virtual, the call will be made to this function. So using the pointer of the base class, first when we tried to call the print function, the print of base is not called because it was a virtual function. Instead of that, what happened? Print of derived was called. And when we are talking about the show function, so the show of base class was not virtual, that's why the show of base class is called. So this is what you're going to get the output as. First will be call to the derived class function, and second will be the call to the base class function. So this is how the keyword virtual will make a difference when we are using the pointer of the base class. So I just hope this is clear to you people. So you can quickly write in the chat if it is clear or not. Quickly show me a thumbs up in the chat if it is clear, or if you want me to repeat. Yeah.
But ma'am, in function overriding, we create the object of the derived class, right?
Yeah. So we create the object of the derived class. When we will create the object of the if we will this is like basically we want to show initially we have seen if we create the object of the base class, then base class function will be called, right?
Yes ma'am.
Yes, but in this case what we are doing, we are creating the pointer of the base class only, and using that pointer if we are trying to call, then also if the virtual function is virtual, it will not call the base class function. Instead of that, it will be diverted to the derived class function. So the main concept was, if we are using base class objects, base class function should be called. If we are using derived class object, derived class functions are getting called. But in this scenario, although we are using a variable which is of type base class, then also the derived class function is called. Why? Because the existence of the base class function was virtual. अगर तुमने उसको virtual बना दिया है, then it is going to skip that function, and instead of that, the derived class function will be called. If it is not virtual, that means it is a normal function. In that case, if we are using a base class pointer, base class function will only be called. Did you get it? Generally we use derived class ka object, that is right, but this is some different concept that we are learning. Okay, in this we are learning about the virtual, that's why we are using the pointer of the base class. Agar if here we are going to use derived class pointer, then obviously the derived class functions will be called. But here we are learning a different concept of virtual function, that's why we use base class pointer to show in example.
But then what's the advantage of a virtual function?
Okay, so this is virtual function. There is something called as pure virtual function also. So in Java, you have done the practical of abstract functions. Abstract function, abstract classes kiya?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so basically what happens, sometimes this is virtual function. What is pure virtual function? We don't write this also. We write an empty function. So what do we do? In the base class, we just give your client gives requirement that I want the input to be taken. So in the base class, you just write the requirement function. In the derived class, you give definition of the function. So what this is a type of information hiding, or you can say secrecy encapsulation, that in the base class, you will just give the name of your function. Client will say, I want input to be done, I want calculations to be done, I want output to be displayed. So whatever client is saying, we are just writing that as function in the base class. After that, in the derived class, we are writing the whole definition of it. So client is least bothered about how you are coding it, what codes you are writing about it. Or maybe for the TSEC, like you can say for TSEC, your principal said, I want a software, it should take information from students, it should take information from teachers, it should print information of the students, it will print information of the teachers. So what will happen in the base class, we will just write input and output function. In the derived teachers derived class, we will write input of teacher class. That is, your employee code should be taken, your salary ID should be taken. we will create one more class, that is student class. So student class is also going to inherit the base class. In the student class we will write roll number should be taken, pointer should be taken. So what we are doing, we are giving abstract view here in the base class with the virtual function. We're just naming the function, but whole coding and definition will be given in the derived class. When we will be doing abstract classes and abstract functions in your Java, then in the practical, then you will actually learn the implementation of this.
But ma'am, isn't it interface? Isn't it same as interface?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, interface only. That is, in interface you have abstract functions, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
We
So
just write a function.
yeah.
And we just leave the
Right.
code blank.
Yeah, so that's what only I was asking. Sorry, I just didn't mention the word interface. So interface is having abstract classes. So same with this virtual function concept is there in C++. Okay, you have abstract functions in Java. In C++ you have this virtual functions. Your pure virtual functions are abstract function. What is called as pure virtual function in C++, that is same as abstract function in your Java. Okay, so you have done that in lab, right? Java lab.
Yes, ma'am. In interface, yes.
हाँ, तो interface में whatever is the abstract function, the same role is of this pure virtual function. Right now I have taken virtual function. Pure virtual function is only these brackets, nothing. That is abstract function. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, now so we know about, now these are the differences between early binding and late binding. So I've just noted down things in points, so in case you get the difference, so I think I'll just leave this to you people. You can just read this and like this will help you to form the answers in your main exams. Okay, now the next thing is friend function. So friend function is something that we're not going to look into the implementation example. We'll just see the theory of the friend function. So what are friend function? Friend functions basically comes into picture. Suppose like you are having two different classes. This is object of one class. This is object of second class. Now this is information of class 1. This is functions of, these are functions of class 1. Same way this is information of class 2 and these are functions of second class. Now this function will have access to this information, this function will have access to this information. But if this function of one class tries to access the information of another class, then what will happen? Or if the function of second class try to access the information of the first class, what will happen in this case? So this access will be allowed, this access will be allowed, the same class function, same accessing same class data, but this access will not be allowed. Function of one class cannot access the data of another class, so we will call it as access denied. But if we want to get this access, then for that friend functions come into picture. So friend function are your special type of function. So here what we use friend function here for this scenario when we want this type of access. So what are friend function? Friend function is like your friend class. A friend function can be given special grant to access even the private and protected member. So you can say when we discussed about the private, public and protected access specifiers earlier, so what we said, like your password is something that you are going to keep it private. You're not going to share it with your friends even. But definitely there are some best friends, or you can say your BFFs, who are the most close to you, with whom you are comfortable even to share your passwords. So those BFFs are your friend function. With them you can share anything, be how much private it be. So those type of functions are called as your friend function. A friend function can be a method of another class or a global function. So you can have function in another class, or it could be outside the class as the global function. But there are some things that we need to keep in mind while implementing the friend function. What are those things? The first thing is the use of friend function should be limited. So that is but obvious. You're not going to share your secrets with each and every one. Your ekdam closest friends are going to be few only, maybe 1 or 2 or maybe 3, not more than that. Why do we need to restrict the use of friend function? because the whole concept of encapsulation will be on stake. If you're sharing your all type of information, private, protected, public, everything with other functions, obviously the security of the data will be reduced. So what encapsulation talks about? Encapsulation talks about binding things together to make the data and information more secure. So that will be cancelled if you are using many friend function. So it should be used only when it is very necessary. Next is like there might be a scenario you're sharing your secrets with your friend, you're telling your password, you're telling all your secrets, you're telling everything to your friend, but the other friend might not be sharing things with you. So you might think that he or she is your best friend, but the feelings might not be mutual. She or he might not be thinking that you are her best friend as well. So the same concept is here also, that is the friendship is not mutual. It's only one-sided friendship. That is, class A is a friend of B, but B does not become a friend of A automatically. It's not that A has become friend of B, so B will be automatically being a friend of A. We have to make B as friend of A also. So the friendship is not mutual. After that, friendship is not inherited. Obviously, your mom's best friend cannot be your best friend for sure. So the same way, the inheritance concept is not there. If you are inheriting a class, that doesn't mean that you are inheriting the friend functions as well. Okay, now the last thing is that the concept of friend function is not there in Java. So this friend function concept is there in C++ only. So guys, this was all about friend function. So we are done with